Bob Andy passed away on Friday, so we have gone to our vault to put up this interview that Neville did a couple of years ago with a great Jamaican legend. Have a look at this.
He wrote and recorded songs like Fire Burning, I've Got to Go Back Home. He writes the songs that we know and love. Bob Andy, CD, a true veteran in Jamaica's music industry. He's with me now, someone I met many years ago. He's written something like 250 songs and still writing. Still writing.
Yes.
Great to see you. How are you feeling? Because I know you were telling me once that you did the operation in 2011 and you're still having issues with that.
Yeah, it's a daily challenge.
What was it?
I had a lung collapse and they developed some foodborne disease in my pleural cavity. So they went in, but they went in through the ribs, which is a kind of operation you never normally recover from in terms of getting better. It's always discomfort, but I was used to pain before that, so for me pain is a constant companion, so I just take this in strides.
Wow. But you still perform?
Yes, I still.
So isn't that even more painful?
Yeah, because then when they change up your abdomen and your diaphragm, which you really need to sing. So, but you develop ways of coping as you go along.
Wow. I said this morning when I read that you started the Paragons, that I said, no, I didn't know that. And you were there even before John Holt?
Yes, John Holt was the last member that came to the group, really.
So you started the Paragons?
Yes.
But did you have other names before the Paragons?
Yes, we had the Binders, and the Paragons came about because our virgin who went to school in New York, a Jamaican, and he went to school Little Anthony and the Imperials and those groups. And in the doo-wop days, and there was a group in his school that was the Paragons that had debunked, and so we just took the name.
Yeah.
And but it wasn't Paragons. It was Paragons before John came into the group. John was the most established singer because he performed on Vera John's Opportunity Knocks and all of that. So we're rehearsing on 45 Walton Park Road where we did our rehearsals, and guy passed there one day and say, you need a good lead singer, you know. You guys can sing, but you need that. So I go and send my friend come up to the yard, and we went down to John Holt's yard one Friday to ask his mother for him, because we hadn't known him, we were just going to be introduced. And she said, three of us, Tyrone, Barry, and myself, in our khaki clothes coming from school, and she said, thank God some decent boy come look for John.
So and that's how you got involved?
And John came into the group after that. And 66, we fell out with John. And Vic Taylor came into the group. 1966 was the first year they had household names doing, normally is amateur singers do the festival.
Right.
But this year the Blues Busters, Joe Higgs, the Mater, so it was the year when Bam Bam won.
Yeah.
After that event happened, went down to Parish Church, which is where the group started. It's not Parish Church because we used to be choir boys. And Tyrone said to me, you know, Vic Taylor is a very good singer, but John is more compatible with the group. And I said, I agree, but if he comes, I go. And he came and they went to Jukrid and I went to Studio One.
And you were a solo since then?
Yes.
Biggest song? This?
Sales-wise?
No.
I'd say the most known song is this.
The most known song is this?
Yes.
Sales-wise?
Well, we don't get them kind of figures, you know. It is just coming to the stage where Jamaicans are being formally being paid and acknowledge that the business is now a business.
Yeah.
It's not just a guy say, come to two tune for me.
Outside of that part of the business, any regrets?
One shouldn't regret your life because whatever it is your life. And so one always thinks that these are things you could do differently. No regrets.
So what would be again, outside of the fact that you might say this is the biggest song, what would be the high point of your career so far? Because you're still going.
had a song being covered by the UB40. So in terms of, if you're judging by sales, song I've got most money for is Impossible Love, which was done by you, which is a song I written for Delroy Wilson earlier on. UB40 covered it on the Labor of Love album with Creator.
Do you write specifically, like you hear someone say, I'm going to write a song for that person, or you write a song and someone, what do you do?
Both ways, both ways. I wrote, Marcia Griffiths and myself started doing harmony at Studio One. Harmonies, when there weren't any live recording going on, Coxon would bring out a tape and say, listen, I need some harmony, understand? It was one of the things I did in Paragons was to teach them harmony. And so I heard Marcia's voice, and it was us doing recordings daily. I was able to write songs for her voice. Up till then, maybe I've written 2 or 3 songs, but I would write a song and say, Neville, you like Ken Booth? I don't want to see you cry. I said, Ken, you say, you say, man, like, produce it.
Where does that come from? Would you just sit on one day and say, I'm going to write a song? Or where does the inspiration come from? What you see, what you feel, or you know you're going to write a song?
I've never been a couple of songs. I've never really sat down with a pen and a book and said, okay, I'm going to write a song now. So like my early days at Studio One, I used to take out records for a living because, you know, you're writing and you're singing, but you don't know when you're going to get, if the song will sell, you need to get paid in the meantime. So most of my songs were written on a bus. Like I was coming out from Randy's one day, I always hustle back to the studio to get with the day session because Coxon had 5 days a week band in the studio. I was coming from the store one morning and 2 experiences came to mind. And normally I know when I get a good song because you get the melody and the lyrics at the same time. You never go wrong when you get the lyrics and melody at the same time.
That's incredible.
But you know, when you play, I started, I wouldn't say playing, started trying to discover the piano at an early age. And so when you grow up with playing around with notes, you absorb them. And so when they decide to come back at you, you don't know where it's really coming from, but you know it's because you spend the time.
You're still writing?
Yeah, still writing.
And it still happens the same way?
Yes. The song I'm here to particularly project this morning was like that. I was in England just after coming back from Africa. I went to Africa for the first time in 2005. And when I came back, I was at my friend's house, my bass player in England, Derek Taylor. And I just got up the morning and just went into his little home studio. I just went in the studio and lyrics and melody. But by this time I was able to accompany myself on the guitar.
This is it here? This is the video?
Yes, this is it.
So this is a new song?
Yes.
All right, we're going to show it at the end of it. So what's happening right now? What you doing now? You just said, you told me before that you still perform and stuff.
Yes, I still perform selectively.
Right.
And I really just live. I just live. Right now, I can afford to live, so I just live. If I have to work, and I'm at a point where I choose to or not to accept a gig. I prefer to do some recordings from here on.
Brilliant.
To write for.
We've spoken about this sit-down thing, yes. But we've spoken about it in a different way.
Yes,
because I still want to sit with you for half hour, 1 hour.
Yes.
And we talk about you, your life, your friends, your work. Great to see you.
Always
brilliant to see you.
Thank you very much.
Always brilliant to see you.
Thank you, same here.
All right, we're going to do a little bit of this because we have to go to news. Bob Andy, I feel like I want some of my friend. Bob Andy CD. Really good to see you.